Eddie, the basic fact is that for every domestic incident in a middle-class family in Australia, there are 10 in a public housing estate, 25 in Indigenous communities. That's borne out by crime statistics around the country. So you can't really deal with this serious issue in a proper way unless you're providing accurate analysis. And to say there's an epidemic, that's wrong. To say it's evenly spread across the community, that's wrong. To say that it's a product of patriarchy where somehow men have been genetically engineered to dominate women, that's ridiculous.
Do you stand by your statement that women are safer than they've ever been before, given that there are close to 80 deaths from domestic violence across Australia last year?
Yeah, well, Eddie, I urge you to read the ABS Personal Safety Survey that shows that since 1996... You have read it? Well,
yeah.
You'll notice that since 1996, the rate of domestic assault and incidents has come down according to that report. So you can only go by the official statistics rather than left-wing feminist hysteria.
So you do believe that, in fact, Rosie Batty, from you, quote, causes more harm than good?
Well, I don't think it's helpful to demonise men in these circumstances. I don't think it's helpful to go around talking about an epidemic when actually in Australia the domestic assault rate against women in a 12-month period is 1%. Now, I wish it was 0%, of course. We all want it to be 0%. But I know enough about politics to realise that if you want to analyse and get solutions to a problem, you have to be accurate. And saying there's an epidemic, which sort of suggests the rate is 50 or 60%, when in fact it's 1%, that does a disservice to the women in need because you're dealing in fantasy rather than fact.
Mark, speaking as a fellow bloke, we've just got to be so careful about these messages and making excuses for this. I just...
Oh, no, I'm not. No one's making excuses here, Mike. What you've got to be careful about is analysing the facts, rather than propaganda that people put out there that's not supported by official government reports, official government surveys, and there's nothing I've said that's not factual. Now, we've had a few items here where you've tried to say, oh, well, maybe that's not the case. I've got references, I've got reports, I've got official surveys that back up the facts and figures that I'm putting out there. Now, it mightn't be the information that people want to hear, but I'd rather have a debate where you can deal in reality rather than left-wing feminist fantasy.
How to be a gamer girl in 4 easy steps. 1. Choose a gender-neutral or masculine username for your online identity. The hordes of cisgender, heterosexual, and mostly white men you'll be gaming with are incredibly sensitive to the possibility of a female within their midst and are more likely to consider you part of the scenery than a peer on the battlefield. If you started gaming when you were young, naive, and starry-eyed, and have the misfortune of an unchangeable feminine username like Jigglypuff Sparkle Fairy, prepare your defenses ahead of time. At the first question of your gender, tell them you are a lesbian, because in gamer jargon, lesbian is synonymous with man, and there's no room to be feminine here. 2. Become an expert in everything. Complete every side quest, earn every achievement, be prepared for any reference or joke, because if you're not, fake gamer girl alert!
My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or pass or feel to live inside of me. My short skirt is not proof that I am stupid or undecided or a malleable little girl.
And if you MRAs should be, if you shut the fuck up and let me read my list, there's the fucking proof.
And so I obviously can't like.
So, number one, shut the fuck up for a second. Feminists do not want you to lose custody of your children. The assumption that women are naturally better caregivers is part of patriarchy. Feminists do not like commercials in which bumbling dads mess up the laundry and competent wives have to bustle in and fix it. The assumption that women... We're working on it and you guys are trying to dismantle it. But if you'd fucking listen...
I don't believe they do.
Then
why are you part of the organization?
Saying that we're trying to take away their rights? How are we trying to take away their rights?
Why?
Can you shut the fuck up for a second too.
Well,
so I can
he
read
just
my
listed
fucking list,
how they
so
are
you guys
for.
can actually answer those questions.
Does someone have the yellow flyer with that actual quote so we can both have it in front of us?
On a website, or are
great,
these like
great.
policies on a
This
website?
is a list of the things that we're working towards. Now, if you would shut the fuck up for the 50th billionth time,
we agree on.
these are things that we're agreeing on, and these are things that you've actually all got skewed fucking views on. You think that feminists are trying to take away your fucking rights, but as a matter of fact, what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to work on the same things that you're working on, but except the fact that you're just too busy hating women. You can't fucking see that we're trying to actually work on those same situations.